This is the EverCast show. With your hosts, Tamlin, Hylas, Luci, and Flattuss. Connecting gamers with the games they play.
Hello and welcome to EverCast live from Desert Range Studios, talking about all things fun and interesting in the world of online video games and bringing the conversation back to EverQuest Next wherever we can, connecting gamers with the game they play. This is EverCast. I'm one of your normal weekly regular hosts, Tanlin, and with me are our three other normal weekly regular hosts.
Hello, I'm Tylast.
Hi, I'm Lucy.
Flattuss.
Hi guys.
That sounds so sad.
I'm Flattuss.
I'm Flattuss.
Like a little Eeyore channeling your inner Eeyore.
It's okay, I don't need a home.
I love Eeyore.
Thanks,
Nobody
Legendary,
ever cares
for that.
about me.
Tigger was my favorite.
I double gut-er.
I'm
Alright,
not gonna sing the song, but it's going through my head. Just
The
so you know.
wonderful thing about Tiggers are a wonderful thing.
Their tops are made out of rubber and their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, trancy, fancy, fancy, fun, 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 fun. But the wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one.
It's great that we all, like, even though living on, different parts of the United States, we all had the same childhood, pretty much, right?
Pretty much.
I don't know. Did you guys watch the D&D cartoon?
Yes.
Of course.
Then yes.
Right. So again, we're the EverCast show. We took a 2-week break. We're just coming back. We took the Sunday off for the Super Bowl, and then the weekend after that was Valentine's Day weekend. But we're back, and we're ready to talk about the new and interesting things happening in online video games. And we have a lot to talk about in relationship with EverQuest Next. Not that there's anything new about EverQuest Next, but related things. But first, Flattuss, you've got some shameless promotions to do.
I do. Hi. We don't charge you for EverCast, and we don't ask you for money. But what we do ask you to do is find us on Stitcher. Find us on, I believe, we may be on TuneIn Radio, which is another app. If not, I will check after the show to make sure we are. But if you don't want to use Stitcher and want to use TuneIn, go use that. TuneIn is also available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, iPads, everything. It's probably everywhere. And what I also need you guys to do is to do us favors. Thumb us up, give us 5 stars on any and all, especially iTunes and Stitcher. That helps us out immensely. I don't ask you for money. We don't charge you. We're not on Patreon. We don't make you give us money to get extra content out of us or anything like that. We will always give you anything extra from us for free. But what we do ask you for is reviews. 5 stars, 1 stars. Tell an enemy, tell a friend, tell a family member. Just tell somebody that may like the show that give us a listen. Please.
My brother got an iPhone and he was asking me what he could do with it. What was the first thing I told him to do? Oh, you can go subscribe to my podcast.
That's honestly that, because that really does help us. That helps us get noticed, and it does help us get noticed because we found out this week that MassivelyOP put us on their list of gaming podcasts. Like the list, or like your intro into gaming podcasts. These are the ones you need to listen to, and EverCast Show made it on that list. So we thank you, MassivelyOP.
We made a list.
Specifically under the EverQuest tab.
Franchise, yeah,
So-
especially under there.
Yeah,
If you're
So-
looking for us where we are, that's where we are.
right, and that's why in the introduction, the way that we phrase it is that, like, since there is not a whole lot of news coming out about EverQuest Next, we talk about all fun, interesting things in the world of online video games, and then whenever we can relate it to EverQuest Next. That's what we try to do, and so for good or for bad.
Yeah. And real quick, I don't think they can DQN because they would have just told us by now. They would have just, instead of having, because they wouldn't have just kept it going in the dark. They would rather just rip that Band-Aid off at this point and not, because I mean, get the backlash over with and just move on forward. But I think they're still developing the game. They're still developing for Landmark, so.
They've said they're still developing the game. Anytime anyone ever asks them, they have said, we are still developing this game.
There you go.
I've seen
Well,
a
hold
couple
on, listen.
YouTubers who have said that they're getting interviews with the devs about EQN. I don't know when, but I've seen it. So it's still being made. It's just being made slowly, and we don't get to see it all.
Yeah, making
And Lucy, didn't you get that, like, what is this little icon on a desktop that you saw in someone's background?
To be fair, I wasn't the one who saw it. Somebody else tweeted, like, hey, nice EQN icon, Domino. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, like, just because they said that they were doing internal testing on combat for EQN. I mean, it makes sense that, you know, DayBreak developers would have a launcher to go into the tester for all of that stuff, so.
I don't want to spend 20 minutes talking about what ifs. Listen, they're working on it. We'll get news when we do. We'll talk about it right here on EverCast Show. Tell all your friends about EverCast Show.
Verilyn in chat just said he's the one who noticed it. Yes, I saw him say that, and then I was like, what? And like, I tried to make the picture as like as big as I could and like try to see. It's really blurry, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah, it's same. Most of us could make it out. Like, I took the picture and threw it to Shin too, and even Shin could. We blew it up, and it's still blurry, but we could make it out. That was EQ Next, not Landmark, not anything else. So it's there.
Yeah.
It's just.
And as soon as there's more to talk about it, we will be doing it. But until then, we'll try and relate it back to what they said were the 4 pillars of EverQuest Next. And until otherwise, those are that's what we have.
If anybody knows Pentapod, they would know that she is not someone who would do that just to troll you. It was probably a complete 100% just total, like, didn't even think about it. And you notice that whenever we, like, hit on something, they don't say a word. Like, it wasn't, like, there was nobody, like, wonder what it could be. Like, whenever you actually, like, hint at, like, we pick up a little crumb, they say absolutely nothing. Because I'm pretty sure they're made to say absolutely nothing about it.
So, next bit of Ecast news, I'm going to throw it over to Lucy. And Flattuss to a certain extent, too.
Hi,
because Lucy, you started streaming?
Oh, yeah. So, I started doing individual, like, game streaming rather than just, you know, EverCast. So yeah, my streaming schedule is both pinned on my Twitter page. I'm pretty sure my Twitter is somewhere in this vicinity.
It's just point
Right
straight down.
here.
There it is.
And also I twitch.tv/Lucity. You guys can see the spelling down here as well. And so yeah, my Twitch schedule is up. It fluctuates because I work shift work and my job hours fluctuate. So I try to keep it as consistent as possible, but it's usually 2 mornings and 1 evening plus EverCast. So yeah, I just last week I streamed EQ2. I bought the Beast Lord class and played through that. That's fun. And I did a survival horror game called Colat, which I'm still making my way through. It was pretty creepy. It's not like really, really scary yet. I don't think I've gotten to that part yet, but yeah. So next week I'm probably going to do some H1Z1 because I have been putting way too much time into that game recently. And
So good.
It is so good. I love the crafting, but so I'm probably going to do H1Z1 and more survival horror. And I also have this cool game called Subnautica, which is like survival underwater on an alien planet. Looks fun.
What was that game that you were streaming a couple of nights ago? And
That was Chronite.
Oh my god.
Colat. Okay.
Where you were like in the cave and you found like the two, like, oh my god, and you fell to your death and people were taking bets on how long you were gonna live. My god, no.
It was fun. It's a lot of fun. It was I didn't die to any monsters in the survival horror game.
You died to shinies.
I died trying to get to the lore.
I'm sitting on the couch. Tamlin has it up.
Yeah,
on,
I threw it up on the
really big screen TV on the wall, like above our computers. And so I just curled up on the couch and I was knitting and I was watching you play. I was so like enamored with you playing that I quit knitting and I'm sitting on the, no, Lucy, don't do that. Don't go in the cave. No, don't go in the cave. You're going to die. And then you fell to your death trying to get to the shiny.
I do that.
It happens. It was fun watching you, but it was seriously like anxiety building for me. Like, I don't do scary games.
It's easier for me to do scary games when I have an audience because I don't feel like I'm alone. So it's much easier.
All right. And then Flattuss has been streaming a bit.
Yes, I've been streaming Final Fantasy XIV, going through. I hit 50 on my Dark Knight, so I have the Paladin up to 50, the Dark Knight up to 50. My Dark Knight, I've been doing a little bit of the side quests Hildebrand, which are the comedic relief side quests, and I locked the first trial for that, which is Battle on the Big Bridge, where I get to fight Gilgamesh. Also, I'll be streaming Undertale at some point. I decided that I'm going to do the genocide route in that game, which is also considered the hard mode. I have to kill every single character in that game, and then the last fight is insane. I will probably snap my controller in half and want to die. Sans' fight is crazy, so I'm going to do that, and I have Street Fighter V, so I may stream some off my PS4 and do a little fighting as well. He hit 50 and abandoned us. No, I just had a crazy weekend. I had like family stuff come up this weekend. No, and then you'll find me doing some other stuff too. Probably, I have Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm not sure how I want to stream those yet, but most people don't. Like, some guy came in and was just like, here, hit these buttons, and started having me skip days. He's like, no, dude, it's cool, don't worry about it. You don't need to know how to play, you just need to go to, like, the hard parts. I was like, no, I need to know what I'm doing.
My son plays those games. No.
So, if like most of my friends here know me, I am the king of Steam games. If I say it, I have it. So there's a chance that if you want me to play something, I pretty much have it. I have way too many games on my Steam library. Like, an insane amount, like almost 1,000, I think, something like that.
I think I just got over 80.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got more than me. I think I've got maybe 30.
Hey, if anybody would be interested in watching me stream Hearthstone, tweet me. I would totally go back to streaming Hearthstone.
Should totally do it, especially with all the changes coming.
I know. And,
See,
and I mean, everybody knows that I love Hearthstone. I mean, hello, tattoo.
Go for it.
And I was gonna mention that I finally found a game, Atlas Reactor. It's the next little bit of EverCast news. Atlas Reactor right now is on its first alpha preview weekend from Trion Games. It is a simultaneous turn-based tactical combat game that you can watch the people streaming it right now to get an idea of what type of game it is. But it's not very graphically intensive and it's not very broadband intensive, so it's actually a game that I can stream, and I will likely start streaming that game up way more often. And because I'm Pacific Coast, it will be later in the evening compared to the East Coast. So like I'll probably start at 11 Eastern and go until about midnight or 1 o'clock Eastern. And I want to. We'll talk more about Atlas Reactor as the game develops. Right now, it's in. For one thing, there's only like maybe a dozen characters. There's only 2 maps. There's only 1 game mode. But there is potential for a lot more characters, more game modes, more maps. And as they add in those different types of things, the game will grow. But it is a absolutely solid foundation for a game. And we'll probably. I will be playing a lot more of it. So that is it for Atlas Reactor.
Yeah, I need to get in there and check that out.
I will. You know who we need to talk to?
Chewina.
He's the one that got me the alpha code. So I'll see. Like, how did you get that? And can we get another one? Well, you know what? You might want to just ask for one because my stepson saw me playing it last night and he was like, "That looks fun. I want it." And then this morning he's like, "I got a key for that and I can play it." And I'm like, "Cool."
Did he just should I just go on Twitter to the Atlas Reactor guys and be like, "Yo, what's up?"
Well,
it's possible because he is on Twitter, but like I don't see him tweet very often, so I don't think he went on Twitter to get it. Honestly,
maybe their Facebook page.
He might have just registered.
He is the weirdest teenager. He doesn't go on Facebook. He doesn't go on Twitter. He stays away from Reddit. Like, I don't know.
Wherever the kids these days are getting.
Right?
Is there social shit that kids...
Probably Twitch streamers.
Oh yeah, maybe Twitch.
That's actually really possible because he talks about the streamers all the time. Like,
he watches so much PewDiePie. It's PewDiePie that he watches, right?
Do what?
PewDiePie. PewDiePie.
There's like a half a dozen people or a dozen people that he consistently watches. I think he used to watch Total Biscuit even.
Right. So the next little bit of Ecast news is that if you were holding your breath hoping that the HTZ Vive would release the price point for their virtual reality headset and it would be lower than the Oculus, well, it's not. It is going to be an $800 virtual reality headset. So it's about $200 more than the Oculus Rift. I know that it has different features than the Oculus Rift.
I think it's those paddles.
I don't know.
I think it's those paddles. I think those weird, like, the paddles you need to, like, control the HTC Vive. I mean, those are really, but those paddles are, like, so precise, though. Like, from people that have played it, they're like, listen, this thing is those paddles are what make it compared to the Oculus Rifts because they're, like, super precise and you need them for the games. But I think it's because they have that added feature of the paddle.
So can anybody guess what Tamlin's going to get for his birthday this year?
Not that. I don't know. That's like $800.
Yeah, so...
Well, we have the PlayStation 4 right now, and we know that Sony is working on their VR
Morpheus.
headset. The Morpheus or whatever they're going to call it, and it will probably not be $600 to $800, I hope, but we'll see.
Sony will take a hit, I think, just to sell it. Knowing Sony.
All right. And then, okay, I'm going to throw it over to Flattuss for Enix.
Yeah, no problem. So this is quick. Square is having a sale on their main store. I'll throw the link in chat. It's digital and physical copies of games. So if you were planning on or thinking of getting Final Fantasy 14, any of the Final Fantasy content, and there's tons of games on there. Life is Strange, the new Dragon Quest. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of what games they have. Well, go look.
Yeah, just go look. I mean, tons of stuff is on. Like some of it's 50% off, especially like if you were on if you didn't win a copy of Final Fantasy from us a couple weeks ago and you were looking at getting a copy, it's it's going up. Side note: Final Fantasy 3.2 comes out on Tuesday, and Center and I are super excited for that because that adds a bunch of life quality stuff and quality of life and tons of all new content and beautifulness and amazing and fun times. And the Mac client is re-released because they didn't go through another company. They took it back in-house, fixed it, and the Mac client gets released. So Mac client sales are going back out on Tuesday. So Final Fantasy 14 will be on Mac again. So if you are a Mac gamer, you want to need an MMO, there you go.
Next little bit, Ecast news: the Amazon game development software came out. That's their the Amazon's engine is out. It is called Lumberyard, and it is absolutely 100% free. So again, this is a boon to consumers, in my opinion, because the more people able to make games for lower cost means there's better competition, which means that we should see better games, as the developers compete with one another trying to make a better game, and they're not worried about the expense of licensing an engine or building an engine.
Yeah. And real quick, and I found out one interesting thing about it is that from the base level, it's being developed about with Twitch integration. So it's not something like an afterthought. So expect to see games that have Twitch interaction. So like if they do make a survival horror game for like Luci or myself or somebody, and the audience can get involved by like putting / like bump or like crows or something like that, and like to scare the shit out of us, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so
Nope.
when we're talking about Twitch interaction, basically what it's allowing the audience to interact with the game as well as the streamer interacting with the game. And that's we've seen those type of gameplay experiences before with like Twitch plays Pokemon and Twitch plays, but this is stuff that is designed from the beginning to be able to do that, which is super, super cool.
I'm down for it. And also, that's what Amazon's using for their in-house game development studio. So anything that they need to be fixed, it's going to get fixed. So always expect updates and stuff like that. That's not going to be dropped. So if you're looking at doing some game development, just go try it out. Even just try it out for just making some art or something like that. So it's free. Can't hurt. Go get it.
Right. And then, Flattuss, you're talking about GameTrailers.com?
Yeah. Sad to see this go. GameTrailers.com closed down. Last weekend, and that's sad to see them go. When I was growing up, before there was the YouTube and whatnot, and, there was game trailers, and that's where I went for my gaming trailers and my news, and like some of the biggest like early on like YouTube stars before they jumped over to YouTube, like Angry Video Game Nerd got a start over there. So sad to see that close down. I hope the best for some of those guys. I know some of them are starting their own online videos places on YouTube and hoping to jump into other video game news and journalist sites and stuff like that. So sucks to see them close down, but I wish the best for them, and I know some of them are already starting to pick up fame and recognition on other sites. So good for them, and sad to see it go though.
Right. A brief bit about Black Desert Online. Black Desert Online is in its final closed beta testing this weekend. The game launches on March 3rd. It is a Korean import MMO. It has a very unique take on a combat system. It's not tab targeting at all, so you can take like your Final Fantasy and your Warcraft and your EverQuest and move them aside. It's completely different. It's more like Smite or Guild Wars 2, but it's different enough that it doesn't feel the same. So yeah, other than that, it's a fantasy MMO. So one of the big things to talk about is the changes done to H1Z1. As you guys, if you don't know, DayBreak made the announcement while we were on our break that they were splitting H1Z1 into 2 different games. They're going to call one H1Z1 King of the Kill, which is their Battle Royale mode gameplay. And then the other version of the game is called H1Z1 Just Survive, which is their survival mode, survival MMO. If you had purchased the game before the split, you now own both. But as of this moment, if you want to play either game, you have to buy them separately. And yes, you have to buy. This is a departure from the SOE that we knew from like 2 years ago, where they were all free to play games everything they were going to do was going to be free to play. That means that if you want to play H1Z1, you're going to have to buy it. Let's talk about H1Z1, and then we can make the connection to EverQuest next. I own H1Z1, but I really have not played any amount of time into it.
I picked it up when I realized that the games were going to split, and if you bought it at that moment, which it was like $14.99, you got both games. I was like, why not? So I was like, it looks interesting. I might want to play it. I love DayBreak's titles. I'm an all-access member. I'm going to do it.
I'm down. I'm glad that I bought it like way back in the day. I was like 20. Actually, I take that back. Zube bought it for me when I was out of work, when I was looking for a job a couple years ago. And thank you, Zube, because now I have both for free still. But that's cool though, because if you adopted to go for early, I know we always kind of say like be careful with going in for early access and stuff like that. But it happens that sometimes you get things like this. If you adopt early, sometimes things like this happen where you end up getting like 2 titles out of it, or early adopters get something a lot more out of it. But it also separates the people that just bought it just for or just wanted it for the PvP, and they can make a sale on that. Or if people want it just for the survival, then they can make a sale on that. And that's 2 separate teams, not having to concentrate on like, well, gun accuracy is too strong for zombies, but it works for PvP, and having make those.
I actually I didn't hear anything about why they split. But I actually thought that it was probably to balance out weapons, because one thing that DayBreak, former SOE, I don't really think ever did very well was balancing PvP. That's why I never really PvP'd in any of their games, because it just didn't lend itself to PvP to me. The classes were so different. It was so hard to balance them all in PvP. So I am not surprised that this is why they're splitting the games. Now they can focus on what works better in the PvP situation and what works better in the PvE situation, and I think it's just going to be better overall.
Well, we know some of those guys came from like Counter-Strike and stuff like that. So like gun balance and hitboxes are super important, even when shooting, not let alone zombies, but other players. So when one side, hitboxes and guns on one side, like you can make them so much, but when you can precisely have a team that works on nothing but hitboxes and guns, you can put that in the other game easily, because it's the same engine.
In case people don't know, there are still PvP servers in survival mode. They haven't taken away PvP servers. Like, there's still PvE, there's still PvP, there's still like all the different options you had before.
It's just that battle royale and stuff is kind of its own, like the king of the kill stuff now, right?
Well, and now like battle royale is more of a session-based gameplay experience where you sit down, you play your game of royale, you win or you lose, you come in third place, you come in last, whatever, and then you're like, okay, that was fun, and you get to put the game away and walk away with it without dragging any of the game with you, because you had your game experience. Where in survival mode, you might like, okay, before I log out tonight, I need to make sure, the next time I log in, where am I going to stash my food? Where am I going to put my water? Am I going to be able to feed myself? So it's more of the fantasy gameplay experience. And I don't mean like fantasy setting, but more of the make-believe setting, right? You get to pretend that you're out there surviving in a zombie apocalypse. So I'm glad that I bought the game beforehand. So now that I have both,
I won't ever use the Battle Royale version, but it's there in case.
I will. I'll play both.
I didn't buy the game. Not my style.
Now you gotta buy 2.
Don't give a shit. I don't do zombie games. I don't do horror games. I don't do scary games. I know it's not me. I get sucked in, and then I get scared, and then I have an anxiety attack. So, no.
I'm
I
glad
watch
that
other
I
people
play
play
a
them
server
now.
where you can play third person, because if I can see the character, then it's not me. But if I have to play first person, it gets so much scarier.
Yeah.
It's so you. It's so personal, and it's I totally get that.
Also, because you can't see around you. Like, you just have this one specific view. Third person, you can see see behind you. You can move the camera around.
And I mean, there's still plenty of times where I've been snuck up on, even in third person. Like I was like purifying water at a campfire or something, and a zombie was like right there. I was like, I didn't even hear you growling at me. Why are you so sneaky?
I still get startled playing Minecraft.
There was one time I walked out of my shack, and then like a bear came up over the hill, and I just turned around and walked back in, shut the door. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Nope. No, thank you.
Yep.
And of course, they're still working on porting the games, as far as I know, to PlayStation 4. And now that they're not Sony Online, they can work on porting it to the Xbox One.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Was your original point about pay to play?
Yeah, and I plan on getting back to that.
Oh, okay.
But again, the making that game portable to the Xbox One makes a business sense, because right now they can market the game to PC gamers, they can market the game to PlayStation 4 owners, and if they add a port to Xbox One, now all of a sudden that's another segment of the market that they might not have already been able to market to, that now that they can. And so why not? I mean, it should, and of course I'm going to make it seem like, oh, it's so simple. If you can do it, for PC, and you can do it for PlayStation 4, you should be able to do it to the Xbox One. And I honestly don't understand how difficult it would be to actually port it. So I can't say for certain, but why not?
Somebody, Zexidu? If I screwed up your name, I apologize. But they said DCUO is supposed to become an Xbox soon trademark. So I see it. I mean, why wouldn't you want your game as many consoles as possible? That's why the rumor was that FFX 14 is going to be coming on Nintendo's NX system, which we hope is announced at E3.
Right, and Treon already has a game title that's available on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, and that's Defiance. I think Defiance is able to be played on the 360. But I mean, you can't play across console types, but they're all available.
Microsoft.
All right, so the big thing for this is, though, the changes to H1Z1, that specifically that you have to buy to play the game. It means that, one, DayBreak is no longer a free-to-play exclusive company. They used to be able to say that, like, hey, if you want to play any of our games, that's great. Here they are. If you like them, maybe you'll become an all-access member. Maybe you'll buy some cosmetic features or some convenience features that you like and help us out. But otherwise, you get to play the game. They backed away from that with the changes to H1Z1. You have to buy the game. I'm assuming that EverQuest, I'm just going to throw it out there, personal opinion. Hold on, let me reach down and pull it out of. I'm assuming that EverQuest Next is going to be a buy to play or a buy to play with a subscription game.
Where did you pull it from?
Don't. You know where? Come on.
Well,
You've heard that phrase.
Let's look at their other MMOs. EverQuest, free to play, but it started out buy to play, and there's extras if you are a subscriber. EQ2 started out buy to play, now free to play, extras if you're a subscription. I don't mind buying a game. I don't mind paying for a game box and being able to play that game. And I certainly don't mind a subscription where I get extra things or bonuses or 10% off my Station Cash purchases and bonus Station Cash every day. That'd be sweet. Every month for subscribing. I honestly, I don't mind that model. It's what I'm used to. It's what I've grown up with playing games. Just because I mean, if a game is free to play, they have to make money somehow, or you don't get new content. Period.
My least favorite is buy the game, subscribe to the game, and these are required. It's required that you buy the game, and it's required that you sub to the game, and then also they have a cash store.
Warcraft.
Yeah, because if I've bought the game and if I'm subscribing to the game, I want the entire game to be available to me because I'm already paying for it. I hate the idea that there are certain things that I don't have access to unless I'm willing to pay more.
Question.
Yeah.
What if those?
It's normal.
What if those items were available to you? You got them, but they later became they are because they only come out once a year, and it's only available at a certain time. Like, let's say if it was only available like this one time, you got it and that was it, and then later, like a year later, it came out on a store. So if somebody missed it, they could buy it if they really wanted it.
It would still piss him off because he's like, but I earned it. They shouldn't just be able to buy it with money.
No, I don't care see, I don't get, and that's the other thing that I was about to say is that if there is an in-game currency that allows me to buy things that are available on the cash store, I'm fine with it. And that's one of my, yeah, and that's like one of my complaints about Warcraft is that Warcraft, you can buy a WoW token. You can use the WoW token to subscribe to the game. So you can use in-game gold to continue playing the game. And then they have items up on the cosmetic shop, the cosmetic store, right? So like, I'm gonna pull out the Sparkle Pony, the Celestial Steed, right? It's $15. A month of WoW time is $15. Shouldn't I be able to like go to the auction house, buy a WoW token, and then go to the store and be like, "Here's my WoW token."
When it first came out,
it
was $25.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was $25 when it first came out.
It was $25 and I bought it for $25.
But if there's, I don't really care about the conversion rate that great of an extent, as long as I'm paying for the game, I'm subscribing to the game, and the entire game is available to me. But it might be more convenient if I just wanted to shell out the 25 extra bucks.
I think Shinter has a good point. When you buy the box of the game, when you buy the game, you're paying for the base, like that content. When you're subscribing, you're paying for continued development, continued content, continued stories, things to do. And the cash shop, at least in EverQuest 2, is mostly cosmetic stuff. Like you can buy these like little pet things that you can pop out. You can buy, I mean, yeah, you have all the standard stuff like name changes and gender swapping and things like that. But I mean,
yeah, and
bags, you can buy those in game. Like
with like Final Fantasy, that's the very reason I said like that stuff, because that's what they do. They take the stuff like from holidays and stuff because they come out with new stuff every year. So if you were there, you got it. But some people do. They like, oh, I wanted that. I'll go spend. But they make it super cheap. It's like $1. But they said like they showed where their money was allocated. Like this money from the cash shop went to this, and they showed all the players that it went to opening the EU servers. So all that money was spent to creating all specialized servers for the EU people. So I'm okay when they were very, very upfront about where that money was spent.
Yeah, there was
yeah, as Kaolin said in chat, EQ2 has a veteran rewards program, so the longer your account has been established, and I don't think you have to subscribe for all of you. In fact, I know you don't have to be a subscriber for all of that time. Your account gets rewards based on how old. Like I did not for a long time. I didn't sub to SOE, now DayBreak, and I still have my 10-year reward program, my 10-year reward available to me in EverQuest 2.
Right, and you had mentioned that WildStar also has a loyalty reward program, and I will say that there is something to say about like when you're a subscriber to the game, like DayBreak / SOE used to have it that if you were paying a subscription to the game, they gave you, I think it was 500 station cash every month. And so if there was something that was exclusive to the store, you would eventually be able to buy it just by holding onto your station cash that they give to you for being a subscriber to the game. And so that is a valid, like, well, if you just wait a couple of months, you'll be able to buy that exclusive item. I don't want to. Do we have? But you know what? Let's move on. If you guys have any other thoughts that occur to you, we always have the final thought segment that we can come back and talk about it a little bit more. There's no. We'll move it on to the landmark updates.
Yay, landmark! So, first of all, what I want to talk about is the Landmarks of Landmark competition. It started February 11th, and so submissions end March 1st, and then they give it 2 days, and the community gets to judge. Each like basically like on the claim is counted as a vote towards that claim during the final judging, which starts on March 3rd. It's a single claim that you can submit, so no gigantic structures. It can be as small as you want, as big as you want, as long as it fits on one claim. It's judged 70% originality and creativity, and 30% like appeal for landmark. All the details are on the forums. You can find that. So that's fun. That's happening now. I am building for it, so I'm not going to say what I'm building though. It's a secret.
She wouldn't even tell us.
She wouldn't. Now I have a question. Is your build did you build up like a giant box, and are you building in the box so nobody can see it in the game?
No.
That's a whole lot of ground to cover to try and locate where she's got her claim at. Because if it's
not, because it's not on the same island where my normal claims are.
I'm not gonna find you.
Sneaky.
No, I just think it'd be cool if you were hiding it even from people that were that might see.
It wouldn't matter because the people, even if you put it in a giant box, people who are on your friends list can teleport to you, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, this is what you're building.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just building it. I'm not going to talk about it, but if people pop in, I mean, obviously I can't stop them, which is one thing I actually really wish that one functionality I wish I had, and I've been saying this since alpha, is I wish they would allow us to toggle whether or not people are allowed to teleport to us, because when you're in the middle of an RP session and one of your builder friends or PvE friends just pops in and is like, hey, what's going on? What you doing over here? And starts running around and opening doors. You're like,
You're like, my lady, my lord, and also hey, how's it going?
Well, I mean, not even that, but it's just awkward. And not only that, if you want to just build and be by yourself,
Isn't there a way to turn off so nobody can pop in just automatically on your claim though, or can your friends still pop in on you?
They can teleport to you anytime, anywhere, it doesn't matter.
That's kind of
and that's when you have friends lists in games and stuff like that. And this is not talking just DayBreak. It's all across almost all their games. Their privacy and control settings are such a well, here's all of your friends. All of your friends are in one category, and you have 3 statuses that you can apply as available, not available, or offline. And it's come on, how hard is it to allow me to be this is a group of really close friends. They can come and whisper me whenever or pop to me whenever. And then I have other friends that I'm you know what? If I want to go and hang out on my own, I want to flip a switch and not be bothered by anybody but my close friends.
I wish that too. I wish there were priorities set. All right, you can know that I'm online, but if I am do not disturb me. So somebody in chat says, what are my thoughts on having a system that if it pops up the notification? annoying user wants to teleport to you too. That would be cool. But at the same time, I wish you could just turn it off altogether so you don't have to worry about the whole, like, somebody being like, well, why didn't you let me teleport to you sort of thing. I'm like, oh, they're just turned off right now because for everyone. Like, so, yeah.
Can I throw in a breaking news real quick? Because we're still in news. Like legit breaking news. Smite's coming to PS4, and you can sign up for the closed beta now.
Fine, that's actually great news. I have a video up on my.
I will link in chat.
I have a video in my my YouTube collection. I don't keep many videos, but it's the EverCasters one. Flattuss, you remember that when we came back in Smite when we were so close to losing, and we snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, and it was glorious.
All because my giant baby. Never underestimate the power of a giant baby.
All right. So moving on to the rest of the landmark update part, not the competition part.
Right, so there's a huge, awesome update coming for Landmark. They haven't said when they're going to roll that out. It's soon TM. But it's got a lot of really cool stuff, which is basically build mode, which is what we've been asking for like ever. It's going to be an awesome UI overhaul for building.
Time of day controls. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I have needed those.
Not only is it good for people who are like, I don't want to build in the fucking dark, I can't see what I'm doing, but it's also good for like, immediately my mind goes to RP. You know this. Everybody here knows this if you know me at all. And like, you walk into a tavern, and it's the middle of the night in the game, and then you spend an hour there, and then you walk out and it's bright fucking daylight, and you're like, oh, we must have spent all night in that tavern. Because it's morning now. Now you can stop that from happening.
And then, not to, I'll let Lucy go. Otherwise, I'll get really excited about stuff.
Okay, so Mega Palette is coming in build mode. Basically, you're going to have a bunch of different tabs while you're building. So you're going to have your building tab, which takes all of your building tools out of your inventory. Thank fucking gods. That shit clutters everything up while I'm trying to adventure. And then it's just a nuisance to put them on like a chest on your claim, because then I always forget. I'm like, why can't I select? So that's taking out. The building tab's also going to have shaped voxel brushes, so you don't have to go through the complicated UI that they have now. I mean, it's not complicated, but it's tedious. It's going to have a materials section, which can be filtered by keyword. They're rearranging the materials so that each material is only in one category, and they're making the categories clearer, which is sorely needed because it's a little confusing right now. Like some things are in like multiple categories, so when you first type it in and select it, it's in one category, and then when you go to find it, it's not. You can't find it in that it's weird. There's going to be a props tab, so you can toggle to only display the props you can create. The tooltips will display more details, including what materials you need to make the prop. There's going to be a new templates tab, so make it even more convenient. Hope to God it's not as laggy as the current templates part, because it's just annoying.
Tints. I am so happy about tints.
Yes. So not all of the props are going... Tints. Yes, not all of the props are going to be able to be tinted, but there's going to be a palette of colors that you can select from to tint multiple props the same color, so you can color coordinate your interior design.
I didn't hear tint. I heard worse than tint. I heard tits and tents. T-I-T-S, T-E-N-T-S, not T-I-N-T-S.
Well, I get excited about those too.
So that would be
I thought he was getting excited over tits.
Completely different type of building.
What's a tint tent? It would be a totally different building.
Oh my.
And on
You're going to be able to color the props. You're going to be able to color them. That's better. That's a less confusing word. Also, time of day controls, we already went over that, and camera controls. You're going to be able to. So currently you have your character camera, which is centered on your character. You're also going to have an orbit camera where you put a point and then you center around that point, and a free fly camera, which means you can like leave your body behind and just go, and you can actually go through walls. I don't know if you can go through props. I didn't see that specifically said, but you're going to be able to like move through your voxels so you can find like those stupid emitters that get stuck and lost and all this other stuff. So I'm really excited.
It becomes so much easier to build when you don't have to worry about like where your body is. You just move the camera to where you want to be able to see. And now with the lighting controls, you can actually control like, dude, I need freaking full on daylight here so I can see what I'm doing. Because
Go ahead.
My first experience was building in a cave way underground, and I literally could not build at night. I'm like, okay, I'll be back in an hour or two when the game server tells me it's daytime again because can't build in the dark.
Well, I mean, you can put like lights, like the little orbs of light up, but then it just, yeah.
No, and that's a fair point because I remember this was when I was building in the alpha portion of the game before they had the lumicite in the game. So the only light you could get was from torches, and the torch lighting was good, but it was not enough.
So somebody asked in chat what exactly was the tedious part about it. Well, mostly because when I mean, yes, you can hit the C key to go from cube to sphere, but if you wanted like different shaped voxels, you had to pull up an extra box on your screen, and sometimes you already had your materials palette open, you already had your prop palette open, and your prop window open, and it was just like an extra window that you had to leave open or close because it got in your way, etc., etc. So I found it tedious to have to like go into a separate window, and now it's just going to be right at the bottom of the screen. You're going to be able to just select the shape brush you want and just go with it, and then select off of it and back to what you wanted before. So for me, I think it makes things easier. For people who have been building and are used to the tools, I'm sure it's going to you guys all up. So have fun with that. Have fun relearning the system.
All right. So I think that about, I mean, any other landmark update? Before I say that, when they put the updates in the game and we get to actually play with them, we will come back and talk about this at all. So this is not the last time EverCast will talk about this latest landmark update. This is just them announcing it. They're talking about putting it in, but they haven't even given us a schedule about when exactly these changes are coming, just that they are. When they get the update implemented into the game, maybe a week or two after that, so that we have so that the community has time to like get their hands on it and see how it changes things, we will come back and talk about it once again.
It's been hinted that it'll be in March, but again, no definites. Just yeah.
Right. So had something else planned, but if there's no objection, we will skip over that and come back to that next week and move into our final thoughts.
You know, when it comes out, I'll play with it because they're actually going to have more stability listed on that update too. So that'll be nice. Hop in there, and hopefully things aren't as janky. Sometimes I get some stability issues with Landmark still, and I have a pretty beefy machine, so.
Thankfully, my machine's a beast and can handle it now, because I remember trying to build at 2 to 9 frames per second, and it was probably the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
I should have no issues running that game. I mean, I can stream, I can run most games at, maximum, and, I like most games at maximum 60 frames per second. I have no issues, but Landmark still is the one that gives me issues.
I will try building again. I hopped into the game to update a week or so ago, and I wanted to Kai Lest and I, we always talk to each other back and forth about like our dream house and what it would be like. And so I thought that I would log into Landmark and see if I could recreate something like that in Landmark. And I couldn't really do it. and it's not the game. It's that I want to build on a perfect plot of land that's absolutely flat and in landmark. You can occasionally find some, but
You
working
basically
under
have to
the
build a foundation and then build on top of it.
right, and I got a little frustrated when I was building the foundation and was like, can't I just have a flat land? But I'll probably go back in after the update.
Just use Sims 4. Their building mode is really awesome.
True. And then final thoughts for H1Z1.
Oh, it's fun. I really like the crafting system. Once you finally get to a point where you can set up your little home sweet decrepit shack, it's much better because you can put a box in there and a door and lock it, and you can have a little stash of stuff. I even died after I did that, came back, somebody had already looted my corpse, but I still had stuff to start again with. So I really like it.
You know how to get a hold of me. I have the game, and I don't mind playing the survival MMO experience, especially I teased out that they're developing the Conan Exiles survival MMO, and that's probably the one that I'm most excited about, simply because I'm a big Conan fan.
Very loincloths for everybody.
Punching camels.
Okay.
Flattuss, you've seen the movie, right?
What movie?
Conan.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
He gets drunk, he walks into the camel, and then he punches. I do not condone cruelty to animals. It's just funny.
Don't hit an animal.
It's not funny that he punched an animal. It's just funny that it's so of the ordinary, he totally wasn't expecting that type funny.
He didn't actually punch the camel. It's just movies. No camels were harmed.
In the making of this film. Yeah, all right.
Mostly because the camel would probably bite his face off if he actually punched the camel.
Or spit on him.
Yeah, they're notoriously ornery creatures.
It's my spirit animal. Kyle, did you?
The camel.
And you live in the desert, so it's perfect. My spirit animal is totally the if you've seen the Woot t-shirt of the fat, ugly unicorn eating the rainbow, that's my spirit animal.
I have too many spirit animals. I'm pretty sure my spirit animal is a visible hawk named the Dude, and it's a she.
Okay, let's see, alright? I was going to turn it over to you for the Ask Flattuss, but we can skip it if you need to.
I need to skip it.
Okay. We will have an Ask Flattuss next week. We're going to skip it this week. So that brings us to our final segment of this week's EverCast, which is called Do Better. It is not necessarily a rant or a flame or me trolling a game development company. It is me saying that, hey, I see that this game development company is doing something, or the community is trying to do something, and I just think that they can do better. They swung and they missed. And my do better for this week is, unfortunately, Black Desert Online. And it's not over anything involved in the game except the character classes. And so here is my do better. Black Desert Online has a fantastic character customization where you can make yourself look like just about anything or anybody, as long as you like humans. There are no other races in the game. Where they fall short is the fact that the game launches with only 8 classes in the game. Not only is that a very small number of classes, but the classes are locked to their gender. which means that if you want to play a warrior, that's great. If you want to play a warrior and you're a girl, well, you actually play a Valkyrie because that's the closest class that compares. And I've got news for you. If you want to shoot a bow, you better get used to having boobs because the Ranger class in Black Desert Online is a female. There is no option that I could find, and I could be mistaken, to switch it to being a male Ranger. So the idea of complete character customization with this awesome character creator and editor is awesome until you actually get to play the game and you realize that, like, well, if I'm playing a warrior, I get a sword and a shield and I have to be a guy. Or I can play a Valkyrie and I get a sword and a shield, but I don't get like an axe. Or they could have done better. And maybe that works over in the Asian markets because I know that their trends are completely different from our own. But
isn't Diablo like that?
How many character classes are there in Diablo, and is there a character customization in it?
I don't think there's character customization, but if you want to play a specific class, you have to be that character. Also, it's basically like every game up until recently, if you wanted to play, you had to play a dude. Mario and Luigi. Basically, pick an RPG. Most of the time, the main character was male. You had to play a boy.
Right, but when we're talking about like the start of MMOs, right? Like Vanguard launched with 19 character classes, 19 or 20 character races. You could play any class with either gender. I didn't play EverQuest or EverQuest 2 at launch, so I really can't say, but I am sure that they didn't lock class to gender.
No, but to race.
It's true, and to a fair point, so did Warcraft, and so did Vanguard. But again, that kind of I can almost see them doing that because the fantasy lends itself, like a stealthy ogre rogue.
Yeah, but still, at the same time, you want to see that character. And you'd be like, what are you doing?
He's hiding behind like a tree, and he's bigger than the tree.
He's hiding behind a fairy, just holding it in front of his face.
If nobody can see, if I can't see them, they cannot see me.
But right here, we're actually proving the point, which is that we're arguing for more character customization, more options, not less. And that's the thing, is that we're seeing progressively more classes and races added to a game. But Black Desert, it's all human, 8 classes, and gender's locked to race. I don't think that that's enough, and I think that they should have done better.
Is that how it is in release over in Korea? Or is that just we got in beta and they're going to release more?
Well, the game is 2-3 weeks out from launching, so it's not like they can I don't think they're going to make any changes at this point.
All right, I was just wondering, because sometimes they do that, where they're like, right before launch, they're like, oh, here's 2 more options that we didn't put in the game. Sometimes, every time, sometimes, but... I mean... I get it. I mean, I'm okay with certain things if it's lore specific. Like, hey, listen, lore wise, this is only a female. Like, Valkyrie would be only if.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, but you can have, like, if you're a male warrior, you're a gladiator. If you're a female warrior, you're a Valkyrie. Like, you could do it and still, like, you have the same abilities. You're just called something different.
Right, and you can be a witch as a female or a warlock as a male. And I'm okay. I'm sort of okay with that. But the fact that if you're going to play, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you're forced to play a female. It's more to do with the fact that you're forced to play a specific gender if you want to play a ranger. If you're going to play a ranger, it's got to be a female in Black Desert.
Which doesn't make any sense at all because the Amazons cut off their left breasts in order to be able to shoot bows. So. It's really not the best gender that you could pick in order to fully maximize that class. Just for physical reasons.
Someone needs to make an MMO just no genders. Like this is a fantasy race.
Just blobs.
So everybody's an elf, completely androgynous.
Or like an angel from what was that movie? Jay and Silent Bob's movie?
Just one of
Oh,
the
wasn't it
angels.
Dogma?
There's Dogma. Yeah.
Dogma.
It's Dogma. There's no just genderless. Well, they didn't have
Yeah,
genitals. They had genders. They just didn't have genitals.
Well, come on. If you okay, I'm just gonna stop right there. We have a couple of questions. There's one from Survivor In. Question: in regards to paid subscription, I think subscription should be a supported method if the company is very transparent about the roadmap. Do you think companies should be transparent about their plans if they charge on a subscription basis?
No. I think we've become too entitled as gamers. As long as they're putting out content, you're getting your money's worth. Like, why do you have to be like, I want to see everything that you're doing with everything because I want it right now. Like, if they're doing a bad job, stop paying them.
That's it. I mean, unfortunately, we got into a point in time where, like, remember back in the day when games just came out and you were really fucking hyped for them, and if it was shit, you knew really quick because you read the reviews and you're like, that game is shit.
You mean remember when they didn't hype games for 3 straight years before they
that
released
shit
them?
too, yeah. Or release a stop buying. Here's some pro tips. Stop buying early access. That's your first tip. Don't pay for any beta because that's just a paid demo. That's all you're doing is you're not testing shit. It's just a paid demo essentially. And be careful what you kickstart. I'll say this: like I helped kickstart Journey Quest, but I know the company has proven time and time before that they are like everything they create is by funding. So I support that because they've proven in the past that they can do that. But other like game companies, that shit falls short. You never know. Game development time takes time, and like just fucking wait for a game. Just wait for it. Shit'll come out eventually. Buy it when it releases, and if it's good, people will say it's good. If it's not, then you saved your money. You didn't have to deal with bullshit.
And to answer that question, no, I don't think because you're paying for the service, and I hate to say it like this, but until the way that game subscriptions fundamentally change as a service provider, they're not in. If you don't like the service that they're providing, stop paying them. But the other flip side to that is that games like Activision Blizzard is publicly traded. If you want to know where their money is going, buy their stock, show up at their stockholder meetings, and ask the questions. Because guess what? As a part owner, you're entitled to ask those questions. And if you have enough support around you from the other stockholders, they'll have to answer to them because you're not a subscriber to their service. You're a part owner.
It's a good point. It sucks. Like I don't think any company has to give us the right of saying, this is what we're doing. They don't have to. If they do it, it's because out of the kindness of their hearts. If they're developing a game, they can be quiet as much as they want. It's only when it comes to like early access, Kickstarters, anything that involves like, hey, you gave us money, we want to be open with development. That's one thing. If you're paying them a subscription for a game, they don't have to tell you shit. They're not gonna tell you shit. They don't have to. They can give you hints like, hey, listen, this is what's coming up in the patches up ahead. But that's it. I mean, and they'll know what to do because if people stop paying subs for things and you stop dropping and giving them cash, guess what? They'll be like, all right, then now we really need to figure out what we need to do to change the game to bring people back in. Otherwise, people are going to complain about what you're going to be putting in the game, and they're going to stop creating content before it even gets released based on what people are saying. And I'd rather see content go into a game, see what sticks to the wall and works, and then see what doesn't. And what doesn't, they'll know not to make more of that in the long run. So
I think what the crappy thing is that not crappy on the company's part, but like crappy that this happened is that when DayBreak was SOE, they said that we're going to be completely transparent. You're going to know everything. We're going to have open communication, and it was fun, and we got to talk to our developers, and we got one-on-one time with them, and that was really cool and awesome for us because, we don't normally get that. And then DayBreak They transitioned into DayBreak, and obviously the rules for them have changed. Obviously, someone upstairs has said, we're not doing that anymore. So, yes, it sucks, but you have to understand that it's specifically that dev who is tweeting about her cat is not your target right now, okay? So, don't go onto Twitter or the forums and, like, spew just hate and bile because they're not open anymore, because honestly it's not their fault. Like, the person you're talking to, it is not their fault. If you have a problem with the way that DayBreak is handling their stuff, put it through a customer service channel and let it go, because that's all you can do. That's really all you can do. Just write an email to customer service saying, I don't like the way this company is going, and let it go, because it's their prerogative whether or not they listen to you at this point.
Yep. New CEO, new backing company. They're a whole new entity. Look at H1Z1. Nobody knew that shit was gonna get split in half. Nobody. They didn't say it wasn't on like some big roadmap. And people gave money to that game to play it early. It's not like they needed to tell anybody. They did it because they felt it was the better choice for the game. And I don't see people complaining. I understand people are, and I don't want to say butthurt, but I understand people are just upset because they announced the game 3 years ago. But I also am in the same party as, like, a lot of games get announced super early. And I feel like some companies should wait a little longer. But, you know, the developers do take the heat for the company choices, and that's so sad, because a lot of developers are the ones that get attacked by people on the internet and stuff like that. And we should, and I've said this on the game before, as gamers, we should spread love through gaming and game because it's fun and not hate. And I think that's more of what we get nowadays, and I think that more of us could, share kindness through gaming instead of hate.
And one last thing, remember, while you know what is personally fun for you to play, you do not have a degree in game development. You have not spent years of your life in the industry. Like, let the developers and the people in charge make the decisions for their games. They're the experts.
All right.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that we had removed because we spent so much time, was the question of, like, we all say that these are the type of games that we like, but do we ever deceive ourselves? Do we lie to ourselves? And, like, when a game does offer us that, do we actually like it? Not that we have an answer to that. That's for next week.
Yep. But that's it for a great show.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us on episode 85. Holy crap. Is it really still episode 85? We're close to 100, 15 episodes away from 100. Thank you everyone for showing up for episode 85. We will be here next week talking about things in games and all sorts of stuff and fun times. Remember, Stitcher, like us, give us reviews on iTunes and all that fun stuff. And then go, Talon.
I forgot during the Atlas Reactor segment that there is because Atlas Reactor is doing their alpha preview right now. They are doing a fan tournament on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday is round 1 and Wednesday is the final. I signed up for it along with some names that you may remember, such as Truena, Sog, and Phantom X.
Get me in. I'll sign up for it. I'll go in there.
We will do what we can, but I will be tweeting about that after the show. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Well, we hope you have a wonderful evening. If you have not already found us on Stitcher and iTunes, go ahead and look for us there. Thumbs us up, subscribe, like us on YouTube.
And camping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Love you all. See you all next Sunday. Bye-bye.